I believe earlier in this conversation you said over 50 million was raised last year for charity. How much has been raised so far? Do you know a rough estimate for charity in 2023?
We don't have that yet. That's a number that we typically get after the marathon. Each of the organizations reports to us how they did. And so we get that data in after the marathon. And we usually, I think it's a month or two after the marathon, we'll put out the grand total that was raised each year. But we're always looking to raise our game. And so we're looking to beat last year's total.
I'm definitely excited to see that number. And do you have any idea of how many of the runners running the marathon are running for a cause?
Yeah, I think the number, the last time I looked, was about 12,000. So we have a really nice chunk of runners. Remember, there are about 50,000 or so finishers that we expect to have on marathon day. And we expect about 12,000 of those to be running for a cause.
That's incredible. And anything exciting that you're looking forward to for the marathon? It is coming up very closely.
Well, we're so excited, and I want to just talk about what you're doing in terms of who you're running for, and you're running for Team for Kids, which we love. And Team for Kids is our own charity brand. So New York Roadrunners is itself a not-for-profit organization. Team for Kids raises money for all the youth and the community programs that we have throughout the entire year at New York Roadrunners. We have a program called Rising New York Roadrunners, which created a set of running programs and what we call physical literacy programs for kids in schools in the New York City area and actually throughout the country. We serve over 100,000 kids every year through Rising New York Roadrunners. We have other community programs like Open Run, which is a free running program that takes place in city parks in all 5 boroughs of New York City. People can go and run week in and week out for free. We have a great program called Run for the Future, which is a program for high school aged girls, usually seniors in high school or going into college. And we take twice a year about 24 girls who have never really been runners, and we turn them into runners. We teach them how to run. We give them experience about running and beyond running as well. And they all graduate at the end of that program. It's about 8 weeks by running a 5K. So we introduce new kids to running every single year. So, those are just some of the programs that runners like you, when you run for Team for Kids, are supporting. And we're just, so appreciative to people who run for TFK. And TFK this year surpassed $100 million all time and what's been raised for that charity since it was launched. So we're really appreciative to you for running with us.
That's incredible, and I'm really looking forward to it. But do you have any specific story where you've heard of the exact impact of charity entries, how it's impacted a charity through the marathon?
Well, I'm trying to think of something that's really specific. I mean, I can speak, I think I can best speak from a little bit from my experience as a charity runner when I ran for Fred's team. Fred's team, as I said, benefits Memorial Sloan Kettering. And when I did that, I was fortunate enough to get an opportunity during that period to go and visit Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital here in New York City. And so they actually walked me through the children's wing of the hospital. They showed me the work that's being done with kids. They showed me some of the work that Fred's team, which is actually named after Fred LeBeau, one of the founders of New York Roadrunners and the New York City Marathon, but they took me through what that money was going to. And I can tell you from that experience how meaningful that was for me and the other runners, because it's one thing to know you're running for a charity, and I chose Fred's team that year because my aunt had passed away from breast cancer the year before, and so I that's why I chose Memorial Sloan Kettering to run for. But seeing it with my own eyes, right? Seeing the doctors, seeing the kids and the patients who are benefiting from what we were doing was incredibly inspirational, and it gave me a lot more focus and a lot more motivation, I think, to run the marathon that year. And I still remember during that race running past Memorial Sloan Kettering, the hospital's on the route, and they had patients and doctors and all there kind of cheering the runners on who are wearing those orange Fred's team jerseys. So that's a memory I have from running for a charity myself that was pretty specific and definitely was a huge motivator.
I got chills. I mean, I was inspired myself by just watching the marathon. So I am excited to be out there. I'm excited to see you, hopefully, on the route. I'm looking forward to it next week. Rob Simmelkjaer, thank you so much for joining me.
I wish you luck, and I will see you at the finish line. Thanks for having me.